I have full
Streaming.
control.
It is streaming.
Alright, well, this is a simple beginner's introduction to StarCraft. I am with Ryan, aka Ranger Snooch. This is mainly for Damage Incorporated to kind of get you guys situated with how the game kind of works. So we'll be viewing the game cam on my screen, so it'll show what I'm doing, where I'm positioning, and what I'm seeing. We'll go step by step, I guess, in a classic Terran vs. Zerg matchup. So on the top left corner, blue Terran, which is the human race, is me, and at the bottom right is Zerg, which is the enemy. This is an actual online ladder match for ranked, and although the ladder match isn't too important or high, I have definite experience in this game. So, in essence, the matchup is somewhat one-sided, actually really one-sided, but again, the whole purpose of this is to get people introduced to the game. I will begin. So, for Ryan, do you see on your bottom right corner area, do you see E for everyone?
Yes.
Click on that and then go to Metal Spirit 2 and have it tabbed to that. After that, don't touch anything. Let me know when you have that.
It is up.
Alright, and then on the right of that, you see player camera. It looks like a little,
Yep, I
just
see
an
it.
icon. Click on that once.
Okay.
You good?
Yep, it's on.
Game resumed.
Alright, let me know if it's following what I'm doing.
It is.
Alright, so beginning of the game, the most important factor is gaining economy. It's a basic strategy game in RTS. So in essence, it's the standard concept of you build an economy through workers, you build buildings into troops, into warfare, and you just do conquest. At this moment, my playstyle, what I like to do is early aggression. I don't like to sit back and just expand, get economy, and fight out this long, drawn-out war. If I can attack my opponent early or somehow do some bit of damage early game, it's more worth it, in my opinion, than to just throw down an extra command center, which is one of your main buildings to place near resources, to gain resources, and try and get a boom in economy. Yes, there's advantages to it, but there's also disadvantages to it, especially um, being early game, you won't have that much of an army, and therefore you can be punished for being too greedy. So right now, with my SCV, I am currently scouting the enemy and working on my production. So I see here he's expanded, as most Zergs do, which is a standard Zerg move. You know, they like to expand quickly to get increased income, but also their race works in a way where expanding quickly is more of a benefit to them, or a necessity, because their main building is also a unit production building, and pretty much it's the main Zerg hive cluster is what it is in StarCraft, which means it does everything that the Zerg needs. Um, Therefore, expanding and whatnot is very good for them. Not to mention they have the fastest worker production in the game because they can spawn endless amounts of units with larva injects with the queen unit. Now, I won't go too much into detail about the units themselves. That's more towards, I guess, maybe more towards later, but as of now, it's more of just the general concept idea of StarCraft. So right now, in my idea, I'm thinking, hey, I can maybe create some early units to scout the enemy, see if he's playing too greedy or playing standard. If he's not, I'm going to try and deny his expansions that he could probably make further. So you'll see here that I've created some units that will be able to burrow. These little units right here are called Widow Mines. They're able to burrow underground, undetected, and detonate upon units that go within their trigger radius. They can be detected by detection units, but without them, you can't really kill them or stop them. That being said, I'll use that as either a delay tactic to burrow near expansion points, which is where the blue stuff is, the blue crystals and the green gas. I'll burrow them, as you can see here, next to the resources so that they can't place um, a main building right down there to gather resources. They'll have to either kill the said widow mine that I've burrowed, which blocks building production in that specific spot, or B, some people, especially at lower levels, they'll just build anyway, but it'll be much further away from the resources, therefore dramatically decreasing the amount of income that you receive. So right now, I'm seeing what he does. He's still on 2-base. 2-base Zerg generally means some form of heavy aggression. So what his playstyle is more towards, I get the 2-base, I mass a gigantic, decent-sized army and do an early mid-game aggressive push. Now, I've already calculated this and figured, hey, he's going to do this, so I'm starting to pile up defenses near the entrance of my expansion, which is my second base. As you can see, I see here with my Hellions that he's setting an army, and I'm like, okay, I was right. I guessed correctly. He's going to do some kind of early aggression. I'm going to defend this platform and hold it with everything that I have. That's why I'm adding a defensive perimeter around my base and holding and standing and waiting for him to attack. At this point, I suppose no one side really has the advantage. I do have a bit more map control since I have Widow Mines Burrowed at expansion points. I can see if he's about to expand or if he's about to push. And at this point, it's more towards what is he going to do. Now, in this retrospect, there's two answers to this. You can either A, push out with your own army and engage with them head on, or B, let him make the first move and then do a counter action afterwards. At this point of the game, I'm figuring, hey, I'll let him make the first move, then I'll counteract whatever he does in terms of making a mistake. So, in my idea, he'll send his army, I'll hold his position, blow up his army, and then I can engage him and expand behind that, gaining more income, more economy, and more production buildings for a bigger army. That being said, I will increase the replay speed a bit to get the game flowing. So right here, I use the Terran scan ability from the main command center that allows me to gain temporary vision anywhere on the map. So right here, I saw on my mini-map a blotch of red, as you can see, which means he's moving out. He got hit by my Widow Mine, so he's like, oh, hey, he knows that I know. I'm figured, is he still going to attack? And I see on my mini-map that the red dots are closing in. So I'm like, okay, he's going to attack me. Alright, so I'll expand by throwing another main base down for production. I'll place that near a mineral field. And in the meantime, I will just hold my position. And we'll see how he plays his attack. If he does it poorly, which I believe he would since I have the advantage, the defender's advantage especially, since I have buildings placed down, I have a siege platform placed down with my tanks. It'd be foolish of him to just attack blindingly into my base. So, right here, he's trying to break the back rocks to go into my base. I see that, and I'm figuring, you know what, that's not going to happen. I built a sensor tower right afterwards to reveal the location of his army. And I figured once I got that down, I can know what he's about to do. So right here on the minimap, you can see that blotch of red. That's a sensor tower that can sense units nearby. It doesn't reveal them, but it allows me to know their position. Right here, as you can see, his units are taking some damage. The Hellions, which are the light scout units, I guess you could say, are more meat shields than anything for my army, while my important units are sitting at the back doing what they need to do. So right here, I figure I'm going to engage him right now. My Widow Mines will burrow, hug his army, then burrow, deploying all of their shots, which will do mass damage to his army. I took some friendly fire, which was a little rough, but in the end, his army was destroyed. At most, all I lost was mostly scouting units, or per se light units that don't really cost me much. On his end, he lost a considerable sized army, and I still have my army. So therefore, with that mistake, I can expand behind that, which is what I'm doing right here. I'm scanning to see if he put a third expansion, which he hasn't yet. He's still on 2 bases. As you can see on the mini-map, the 2 green dots, that both of those resource points are blocked. So if he's still on 2 base, there's only one real option that he's going to have. Since he's a low-level player, he's probably just going to continue massing armies off of a 2 base economy and try and finish me off. The problem with that is eventually the money runs out and you have to expand. If he doesn't expand, he will lose out on trying to pick up. So right here, I'm actually surprised about his army mass. I was like, wow, that's a lot of units. So I cheaped up on this platform right here and let my Hellions and Hellbats, which are transformations of Hellions, can take leech shield damage, while my tanks in the back are just destroying him. Pretty much their artillery, which annihilated his army. So right here, he lost his army once again. I've lost some units, but again, the losses were minimal. At most, all I lost was, again, light units that don't cost much. While my heavy units, like my tanks, they're safe behind my army, dishing out the damage they need to do. Right here, I figured that's a really good engage. Let me continue the push. And at this point, he's already made one too many mistakes to where this game was already won. Right here, I'm just going to siege up and deploy my Widow Mines and hold that position until my reinforcements arrive. Once I have a considerable sized army, I will just push into his base and finish him off. As of right now, I'm ahead on bases. I have 3 base economy to his 2. He's running out of money for sure at this stage of the game. And right now, I'm going to build a 4th base and continue taking over the map slowly, bit by bit, while again the Zerg just stays in with his low economy. So right here, he tries to again engage, but my defensive position is heavily fortified and defended. So all he managed to do was run in there and lose his army once again. At this point, it's pretty much over. He's way too behind. He's lost all of his units. I've already massed a considerable amount of units on my behalf, and I'm slowly taking over the map. At this point, his only option is perhaps maybe to surprise me with something that I might not expect, and maybe get counterattacked by a unit that might hurt my composition, or flat out he's going to lose and there's nothing he can do about it. So we'll speed up the game a bit. I scan, I see that he's made more Hydralisks, which are ranged shooting units for the Zerg race, and I figured, alright, right here, it's game over. I'm just going to defend this position, burrow my Widow Mines. His army will take massive AoE damage, and I will walk into him and destroy him. And that engage was perfect. I didn't lose pretty much anything. The losses were very, very minimal. And this is game over for him. The mistakes that the Zerg made was he didn't expand, his economy was consistent upon only 2 base, and he led his army to their death one too many times without really doing any detrimental damage to me. At this point in the game, I'm already getting upgrades. My army is becoming stronger by the second. Again, I'm taking over the map in terms of economy, and I'm treating this like an actual game. Like, hey, it doesn't matter what level you are, I will throw out my all to win. And this is exactly what I'm doing. At this point, I don't know why he hasn't surrendered. I'm scanning him, making sure he doesn't have anything that might surprise me. Units are very minimal, and at this point I can literally just walk into him and win. So my units, as you can see, which are Vikings, Hellions that transform to Hellbats, and Siege Tanks, are going to engage his main base, finish him off, and that should be the end of this match. Right here, the opponent leaves, and that's the end of the game. He did not have much to withstand my army, and again, he's made one too many errors in overall his gameplay to really do anything. Right here, before the end of the game, I'm scanning to see if he has any secret bases, or perhaps try to do something that I might have not expected, but he pretty much played right into how I thought he would, and it worked out perfectly. And that is the end of this replay.
Research complete.
Alright, right.